this out weeks ago for a bit of light reading.
This is light.
Hey dear, Zumzi here, and welcome to a new chapter of Hunter x Hunter. And I know I keep saying we needing an exorcist, but seriously, this time I mean it, because we've got a whole load of exposition and Nen curses to exorcise here, so let's dive into it. I like big books and I cannot lie. Okay. I need to preface this video by saying I love reading. It is my life, it is my area of study. However, what I do mind is unnecessary exposition that slows down the plot, and that's what we're getting here at the beginning of this chapter with Benjamin. We're getting information we already know. Like, yes, the intervals between the rumblings are getting shorter. What about it? We already heard that almost word for word from Kurapika at the end from last chapter. It's speculation at this point, and it's not even creating dramatic irony. And dramatic irony is essentially a literary device where we know information that a character doesn't, so it creates this tension and excitement, like, ooh, while you're watching Death Note, I know that Light is Kira, but when will Elle find out? But I don't get anywhere that amount of tension, because Halkenberg doesn't even seem focused on Benjamin at this point. I don't get the same opposition. So for me, all this strategizing from Benjamin and his soldiers about Halkenberg at this point, it's just bogging the plot down. And then at the end there, Benjamin's soldier is like, screw it, let's just bring in the justice branch and have them arrest Halkenberg. And I legitimately started laughing, because otherwise I'd just be pulling my hair in frustration. But enough complaining, let's move on to the more interesting bit of world building we get about postmortem Nen and curses. So we switch on over to Camilla and her private guards, and we get this narration about ancient burial rituals and the Kakin tradition of having an untouchable designated to be the companion of a prince to be buried alongside them so that they don't haunt the current king. Their entire life purpose is to die alongside another person, and now it looks like the Untouchables want to use their ability as a Hail Mary to curse and kill another prince on behalf of Camilla. And yes, Camilla, the same overgrown woman child who speaks in third person and asks for mumsy still. That very person gave them the same rights as soldiers and land. She treated them more like people, and now they all want to support her and win the succession war for her. So I guess she has that going for her now. However, this is going to set the Untouchables in direct opposition with Kurapika, because if you remember, during Sarahel's conversation with the old granny, she mentions the Nen trainer, aka Kurapika, and the 14th prince, aka Wobble. So she's planning on cursing and killing Wobble. So this chapter essentially confirms my fears from last chapter that we are being set up for a lot of emotional stakes and pain with either Bill or Kurapika having something bad happen to them while they're trying to save Wobble. Also, I'd like to point out one more interesting thing that came out of Sarahel's conversation, and that is Nen exorcism. So some of the Untouchables mentioned that they are concerned that there might be a Nen exorcist hidden among the Hunter Association that could cancel out the curse. And I'm like, yes, finally, we've been needing Nen exorcists on the ship for so long to help cancel out all the overpowered and BS abilities on that ship. And I know they are hard to find. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but besides the one private guard that we see on the ship, we know of only 3 other nun exorcists, and one is the one who removed Crollo's judgment chain, the second is a Chimera ant, and the third is the lady who just noped out of helping God. And she's like, screw that, I'm not touching that. So I know they're hard to find, and generally their abilities take a while to take effect, but I think at this point, the Hunters Association just needs to hire Dazai from Bungo Stray Dogs so he can go, ha ha ha, your ability is cancelled. Lastly, I just want to point out that Togashi is seriously dishing out political commentary on classism in this arc. Like, if you look at how Untouchables are treated, it's basically mirroring India's caste system, and especially if you read chapter 378, we get a whole lot of classism and the distribution of wealth from the Kakin mafia. So if you look at chapter 378, the same chapter where we get Morena introduced, we see the Kakin mafia heads having a conversation about the status quo and how those in power need to stay in power to maintain balance, and the Phantom Troop, well, they're a threat to that. And also in that very same chapter, we get the introduction of Morena, my love, who has this beautiful monologue about how she found her balance again in life from her scar, and we see her walking this line with a whole bunch of chaos and natural disasters and everything wrong in the world behind her. So I feel like 2 very anarchist and wildcard groups that are the Phantom Troop and Morena have been introduced together, and I know Fink's gang wants to hunt her down right now, but seriously, if the Phantom Troop and Morena can work together, they could Viva la Revolucion that ship, and that would make me and Luini just so happy. And based on the preview for next week, we might be getting more of Morena and the Spider Fam, so I am super excited for that. But let me know what you guys think, how you think Nun Exorcist and curses can change up the Succession War, and can Tyson's love cult win the Succession War if killing other people is against her teachings? I think she can find a way to justify it, but hey, let me know what you think down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. See ya!